record, he rushed the podium. He was being disruptive, and that is not conducive to a
senator
member
was
of elected
forcefully
body.
shoved
Thank you,
to the
Mr.
ground and arrested.
All right, order. Chair recognizes Mr. Min from California.
I just want to follow up my Republican colleague's comments since he's talking so much about sexual assault, and note that our current president was found civilly liable for sexual assault. I also want to note that Elon Musk, and for the record, just want to note that Elon Musk, who was once part of this administration, not so long ago, accused the president of being part of the Epstein files. So all of great interest and something perhaps we should look into some oversight on. But governors, I want to ask you a few questions. Please raise your hand if your state has any laws or policies that prevent ICE from enforcing federal immigration laws. Note for the record that no one has their hand up. Governors, please raise your hand if you're aware of any laws or policies that prevent federal authorities from enforcing immigration laws in any city or state in the United States. Again, no hands are up, and that's because there's no such thing as sanctuary from federal laws anywhere in this country. What is really at stake here is whether state resources, including National Guard troops, should be used for Donald Trump's immigration policies, or whether National Guardsmen should be used primarily for responding to state emergencies, supporting state law enforcement priorities, or whether they should be conscripted to support ICE. This is really a question about states' rights, and it's being starkly illustrated right now with what's happening in Los Angeles, just up the way from my district in Orange County, where the Trump administration has claimed authority to deploy 4,000 troops from the California National Guard. I also want to note that the existence of the National Guard is rooted in the Second Amendment to the Constitution. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. The first part of that amendment, the part my Republican colleagues always forget to quote whenever they cite the Second Amendment, is the key part of it. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, with state being capitalized so that we know we're talking about the states in the United States of America. The Second Amendment guarantees the state the right to keep and maintain a well-regulated militia, which is the basis for the National Guard. So, governors, I want to just try to set the record straight because I think it's not clear that everyone fully understands what a National Guard unit is, when and how they can and should be called up, and what activities they're restricted from engaging in. I have limited time, so I'm just going to ask you to keep your answers brief so we can really unwrap how deeply concerning President Trump's actions are. Governor Walz, in a sentence or two, what does the Minnesota National Guard do, and how does it serve the people in the state of Minnesota?
Has a dual role. I know this personally from 24 years. You can be deployed federally under Title 10 with the President's authority or Title 32. In Minnesota, we have used them everything from flood and tornadoes. We use them to help during the COVID pandemic, and they serve overseas when called upon.
But typically they report to the state governor per Title 32 of the U.S. Code, correct?
That's correct.
And in times of crisis, a governor can activate the state's National Guard units to respond and assist. As you noted, under Title 10, the president sometimes has authority to deploy them. Governor Pritzker, in a few words, under what circumstances can or should the president federalize a state's National Guard?
Well, the President of the United States, and I've been in office 6.5 years, has in fact deployed under Title 10 our National Guard to foreign lands. We have a terrific encampment of National Guard, Illinois National Guard in Poland. We have the largest Polish-American population in the country, and very proudly our National Guard serve all over the world, in fact, as part of our military to protect our nation.
And so Title 10's Section 12406 allows the president to deploy National Guard troops when the United States is being invaded, when there is a rebellion, or when the president is unable with regular forces to execute the laws of the United States. Do you believe that the protests in Los Angeles or the ICE raids qualify for any of these particular provisions?
I do not.
Okay, thank you. And you're aware that Governor Newsom did not make any request to President Trump to federalize the California National Guard?
He did not. In fact, he rejected it.
And so this is illegal. It does not comply with the bases for deployment. It was done against the express wishes of Governor Newsom. Now, I want to highlight a key point that my Republican colleagues across the aisle should keep in mind regarding the federalization process of National Guard units. Even under Title 10, these troops may not be used for law enforcement purposes. And what we are seeing right now is a total violation of that. We are seeing them used to aid ICE raids, and I just want to note that ICE is acting largely as a civil organization at this point in time. Governor Hochul, correct or incorrect, being undocumented in the U.S. is a civil violation, not a criminal offense. Yes or no, please.
I believe most cases are civil. In some cases, the federal government can determine that it's a
Criminal
criminal.
violation, right? And correct or incorrect, deploying U.S. Marines to support ICE raids constitutes a law enforcement purpose and non-national security purpose.
It feels to have crossed the line, given that we have highly trained local law enforcement who are more than capable of handling those situations.
Thank you, and I'll just close with this. There's no rebellion, there's no invasion, law enforcement has not collapsed, there's no national emergency. What is happening right now is not just unprecedented, it is illegal, and it is very alarming to those of us who care about democracy and the rule of that law. And with that, I yield back, but with unanimous consent, I would ask to introduce this article into the record. Marines to join National Guard troops protecting ICE agents.
Without objection, so ordered.
Thank you.
Unanimous consent.
Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I ask unanimous consent to enter into the record this picture of Senator Padilla being knuckled and looks like he's being arrested and restrained by
Good.
3 police
Okay.
officers. I can't understand.
We'll enter the picture in. Without objection, so ordered. Chair recognizes Ms. Mace from South Carolina.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Welcome to the unofficial